Whoa! Good morning, fruits. Well, I say morning, but it's 6 p.m. I just got up, so good morning. I wanted to continue playing Trixie Glimmersmith, because I can't get it out of my mind because I love visual novels. Let me just pull up chat here. How is the game audio versus my voice? Awesome. I haven't had to change the audio in a while. Oops. I do have to plug in my phone though, because I don't want it dying and turning off my cam. Load. I decided I better get a move on. The Rose seemed like she had stuff to do, like lounging around in the sun all day pretending to smoke. Yeah, that's where we're at. Well, anyway, sorry to bother you. I'll go take a look at those evidence boxes. Have fun. She went straight back to staring off into the distance. I let her get on with it and headed over to the neighboring cottage. The Rose was right. The police had left their investigation unfinished and just ditched the evidence into a couple of boxes. That's more than a couple. That is at least 3. Unless that's a really big duct tape box. But also, like, usually that stuff just gets, like, shoved off. Like, not actually just left at the scene. Fortunately, the summer had been a dry one and everything seemed to be in good condition. I peered through some of the cottage's windows. It was definitely deserted. It was probably a pretty nice place when it was looked after. I could see the occasional bit of half-eaten food laying around on the floor, making a mess of the otherwise cozy middle-class countryside retreat. Why is there half-eaten food on the floor? Started sorting through the box labeled Kitchen 1. Most of it seemed to be old bits of snack packaging and half-eaten food. Gross. What? Why was that evidence? What? Also, hold on a minute. I'm going to make my avatar freak out. I know the heat death of the universe is coming because I, a huge person with galaxies in my eyes, just got too warm and I had to take off my sweater. Fortunately, most of it was so artificial it wasn't even capable of molding. Oh, gross. I just had food that was kind of like that. I had a frozen, like, biscuit sandwich. It was, like, I've had frozen biscuit sandwiches that didn't seem like that before, and were supposedly virtually identical, but this one just, it makes me feel gross. Macas. Are you Australian? I thought they called that in Australia. Interestingly, a DVD copy of Jenny Jason's archery training time for the Game Machine 100 also had a large bite taken out of it, and the toaster seemed to have lick marks on the grill. Lick marks? Wait. Are you guys okay? Did you turn into some sort of weird anti-zombie where you eat everything but actual food? An entire box of sugar acorns seemed to have been emptied into the box, coating everything with a thin layer of nutritionless dust. Someone had been very hungry. The next box, Kitchen 2, only had a couple of gas canisters inside. What? Oh, for the stove. I don't think Daffodil Lane has much in the way of actual infrastructure. The last box, labeled Kids' Room, contained the only real interesting stuff. My eyes went straight towards a small games console and a selection of video games. I spotted one of my favorites, Gun Attack 2. Oh, that's such a generic name. You don't have to be that generic in order to avoid copyright strikes. Oh hey, this kid is one of those little fuckers who always screamed abuse at me when I tried to play that online. Pardon the coffee, and my medicine hasn't kicked in yet. Actually, I probably shouldn't refer to a possibly missing kid as a little fucker. That feels a little wrong. Nah, it's a kid. Refer to him as a little fucker. There were more sweet wrappers, though the kid had clearly diversified their diet by eating crisps on special occasions. This kid doesn't seem the type to collect old play scripts. I doubt it would be in here. In fact, I don't think there's a single word in this box that isn't a brand name. As I said this, I realized I was wrong. There were some very obvious words in the box, and I don't know how I missed them before. On a small paper booklet, scrawled in faded felt-tip writing read, "There's a monster near the woods." Ooh, the music got spooky. I forgot this was a spooky game. Oh, it's a visual novel though, so it should be easier. I got through that one visual novel without dying. Underneath was a crude scribble, vaguely resembling a crouching figure with a woolly, thick body and 4 eyes. Some kind of imaginary monster. Or maybe a wool suitor, I thought. Wool suitor. Oh shit, that's ominous. The handwriting was childlike and shaky. It couldn't have been more than a month old. Probably written as part of some silly game, I thought, but that didn't stop it from filling me with dread, I assume? What was the monster? I stupidly spent all my first term reading books about local cryptids. Oh no! Something I was now starting to regret. Yeah, me too. And I haven't even done that. Didn't actually believe in them, but seeing a warning about a monster and a possibly missing kid's possession freaked me out a little. Maybe the kid was right. Maybe Mr. Springy had got them, or old Lady Whitetail, or even the wilted rose water snake. I had a hard time saying that last one. What's UMA? And why is it better than cryptid? Although I doubted that last one even in my slightly paranoid state. I imagine the wilted rose water snake lived in Wilted Rose Lake, like 30 miles away, unless it had been the victim of particularly poor branding. What's UMA stand for, though? Unidentified monster attack? I started to admit spending so much time reading about silly monsters instead of doing my actual work had been a bad move. I felt sure any second now I'd hear the sound of Clayton Wimberly, the five-faced eye stabber behind me. The five-faced eye stabber? I hate eye scares, actually, so that's getting to me. That I'd turn around and presumably get my eye stabbed. Well, that's what I imagine they do. I shook it off. I was being silly, but I still felt uneasy. I realized the mistress was written on the front of a small scrap paper booklet. It looked like it had been written and illustrated by the kid. Squirrel Warrior Princess Adventure. Squirrel Warrior Princess was on an adventure to save the Squirrel Princess Dragon. I love Princess Dragons. She went through the hills and there was a monster shaped like a woolly person. Squirrel Warrior Princess shot him with bow and arrows in one. "That is what you get if you're an enemy," said Squirrel Warrior Princess, said Squirrel. She drove her car, big car, fast, and reached Castle Grimskull. "I'm here to save your Squirrel Princess Dragon," said Squirrel Warrior Princess. She went through the castle and used her gun to shoot the bad enemies, and she went up to the castle. "No one can defeat me, I am the strongest warrior," I said. The skeleton poped out skeleton with the Pope hat and everything. But Squirrel Warrior Princess punched it and it fell down and cried, and I laughed at it. Oh, switched to first person now. "That was really brave, thank you for saving me," said Squirrel Princess Dragon. She flapped her dragon wings. She had dragon wings that could breathe fire, but she's a squirrel. They played video games together and one single player on medium of the end. Medallion of Honor? I don't know. decided it was best to leave before I left much more incriminating DNA and everything. Felt pretty sure I wasn't going to find the plane amongst that junk, and I wasn't breaking into what was technically still a crime scene on Nikita's behalf, so I headed down the lane to the last college. Did I say college instead of cottage? I strolled past the sheep field. The silly creatures were absent-mindedly chewing on grass, as sheep are apt to do. It looked like a refreshingly simple life. Oh, the background on my computer just changed to something, creepy. No! Oh no, I messed up the thing! Okay, so I have to play in window mode for this to work. Can I don't know, I wanted to cover up the creepy pumpkins in the background. The field was overshadowed by a large tree. There seemed to be a few shiny pieces of jewelry trapped high up in the branches. Maybe it was one of LaRose's art pieces? A ragged nest was perched high up near the top. It looked deserted. Well, maybe there's just a magpie. The cottage at the end of Daffodil Lane was a bleak building. Yeah, it does... ooh! Pagan window! Pagan window. The windows and door were all boarded up. Its interior was dark, and the entire building had an uneasy aura around it. Compared to its scenic surroundings, this place was a septic sore. I remembered the child's creepy message. If there was anywhere near the woods a monster would live, it was here. I was almost relieved to realize I had no way of getting the boarded-up door open. Oh no, there's no way I can get into this cottage. I am so weak and brittle. I felt a little cowardly, so I went out of my way to half-heartedly tug at one of the planks. Fortunately, I had never been strong, and estrogen had further reduced my ability to pull planks off of things. Are you saying you weren't always on estrogen? Or are you on E? So a pentacle that's upside down in a circle might be Satany, but I'm not sure. But this is not Satany at all. Yeah, no. Is this one of my people? Yeah, no. Of course, I mean, yes. But we already know that this is about lesbians, so it makes sense that there might also be other types of queer people. Well, that was conclusive. I can't possibly get these off with my weak little arms. I must use this as an excuse to get out of doing Nikita's busy work, but without her help I knew I'd fail my coursework. You're a dumps. I wasn't going to go home a failure. I'll forever regret not taking that excuse. Let's get a crowbar or something. I think that's how people get planks off of things in, like, games and stuff. I'll head to town. I'm sure I can find some boring old person shop that sells tools there. I dusted off my hands and started my hike back to town, somewhat regretting never learning to ride a bike. The monster near the woods would have to wait. Crisp bag! It was a long walk back to town. Still, the exercise was probably good for me. I hadn't spent much time in town since moving to Blue Hills. It's too loud and busy for me. I was looking for a tool shop or something when I noticed a small shop called Hades. Hades? Well, I think it's Hades. I've just... Hades. Of course I said Hades. Is there a way to hide my mouse? Yeah, I can change that. Is that better? Can you see the mouse now? I'm wiggling it. The choker is never coming out of the carpet by now, huh? And the window was a poster. Big poster. All Crobos half price. What? It's more scary when there's coincidences like that. Like the universe is aligned and put you into a horrifying situation. That was convenient for sure. The shop seemed empty. Okay, now I have to look at all the stuff in the shop because I like the bats that have like the astronaut bubbles. Astro bats. And the other plushies. Well, now you can't see where I'm indicating with the mouse, but there's definitely a fox in the corner. Oh yeah, Space Dracula from Mars. Thank you. I remember that character was, something she had posters for, but I thought she said that, like, there's no official merch for it. A snack machine with feathers coming out of it. That doesn't look good. Some cakes and lollipops and this purple stuff on the left that goes from like normal looking boxes into like what looks like strips of cocaine. The shop seemed empty. Hello? Is anyone here? Nothing. There was a door behind the counter, slightly ajar. I guess that led to an office or something. Maybe the owner isn't there? I want to look around the shop because I want to look at that snack thing. Guess I'll just wait a while. I looked around the shop. It seemed to sell everything. Magazines, tools, sweets. The pricing on everything seemed to be almost random. I had no idea how Heidi was running the shop this way. I took a look at the vending machine in the corner. It didn't have a window, so I had no idea what was in stock. I gave it a tap. Squawk! Yes, this is exactly what I wanted to investigate, thank you. Before I could think too hard about what had happened, I noticed a cute Cyberdraculas from Space plushie. The only bit of official merchandise ever produced for the show. Okay, so there's only one piece of official merch. They were taken off the market because they contained lead. Oh, great. Though it looked like Heidi hadn't gotten the memo. Oh, I love her. Hey, don't break that. I dropped the plushie back onto its shelf. A hyena had stepped through the door to the back room. Either her spots were dyed red or she was spattered in blood. I assume this must have been Heidi. Sorry, aren't those like dogs though? Jeez, who are you? The PC police? Oh no. She smirked. I think she was trying to make a joke. Also, I think your vending machine yelled at me? Yep, it does that. Anyway. Welcome to Heidi's. How may I help you today? That only looked and sounded extremely forced. I saw the poster for crowbars. Could I get one? It was an exceptionally fake laugh. I was a little worried I was being mocked. Does it look like this place sells crowbars? I bet they're out of stock. I hope they're out of stock. Don't let me go on this adventure. Get me out of here. Sorry, kid. I sold out a few hours ago. Unlucky. I'd overstocked. Typed an extra 3 zeros into the supplier site. 3 zeros? What, did you fall asleep on the keyboard? Ended up with 2,000 of the things. I had to start selling them off dirt cheap, but then the supplier just bought them all back. Oh, okay. Guess they want to resell them. Still, I made a good profit on it. Ha ha ha! Those suckers. She paused for a moment, doubt flashing across her face. She started counting on her fingers, grin quickly turning into a frown. She recounted and then recounted again. Please say fuck. Those fuckers! Yes, that's exactly what I wanted her to say. I made a 4,000-pound loss. Why can't gays do math? Mr. Crowbar's fucking dead. She seemed to remember I was there. Anyway, you want a crowbar, right? What for? Don't look like the DIY type. I want a bedazzled crowbar. Actually, one of the characters in our Shadowrun game had a bedazzled crowbar. I think it was bedazzled with teeth, but still bedazzled. Oh no, gay math strikes again. Yep. I think you're the only one I know who is queer and can do math. Like, consistently, even under pressure. No offense. It was a little offensive. Although, admittedly, very true. You're just gonna admit that, Trixie? I need to break open a door. I realized that probably sounded pretty suspicious, so I tried to defuse the situation. I'm not a burglar, it's my door. A strange mix of resignation and confusion appeared on her face. You accidentally boarded up your own door. Cool. Honesty or abandoned cottage? I feel like this person would like that I was breaking into an abandoned cottage. Okay, I'm breaking into a house, but it's abandoned. It's an urban or exploration. Albeit in this case, very rural. Oh, sweet. I don't give a fuck about that. Yes, I was right. Thank you, Heidi. I just don't want to end up complicit in you breaking into someone's house and kicking them to death. I am a rabbit, so I would kick. I was relieved she was going to let me have a crowbar, but also slightly offended that I apparently look like a very inefficient murderer. Heidi dashed through the door behind the counter and quickly reappeared with a crowbar. This is one of my personal crowbars, and I need my others, so if you somehow break it, don't come begging for a replacement. I don't offer warranties. That's 15 pounds. I rooted through my pockets and realized I'd forgotten my wallet. Well, you... useless. Useless lesbian. Oh! Scooting microwave. I rooted through my pockets and realized I'd forgotten my wallet. Because you're useless. Everyone in this game is useless. In one way or another. All I had was about 3 pounds in coins and a D1 trading card, which was a little odd since I don't even collect those. Oh, I've had a pocket with like Neopets cards and stuff before, and yeah, it's weird. It just happens. I kind of forgot my money. You forgot you needed money for pay the things at a shop? Yeah, I guess. Do you accept trading cards? She didn't look amused. She drummed her fingers on the counter for a moment. Okay, whatever. What if you owe me a favor? I hope this wasn't going to be a weird sex thing. I kind of want it to be a weird sex thing. It's not a weird sex thing. Don't make that face, pervert. I suddenly resented my naturally pervy face. I wasn't thinking that. What was it you did want? Nothing crazy, just helping me sort some extra stock. Usually I have to do it myself, but 2 hands are better than 1, right? Of course you have to sign an NDA. I'm sorry. Are you actually selling cocaine? Or not, what do I care? I have a taser. Oh, I did hear a taser. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh. Alright. It didn't sound very exciting, but I needed a crowbar, so I didn't have much choice. Okay, as long as it's just something small and legal. Another unconvincing laugh. It's a good thing I can only laugh unconvincingly when trying to imitate Heidi. Another unconvincing laugh. I think it was supposed to sound friendly. Yeah, it's fine. It's small. It's legal. Did you just try to fake a reassuring laugh? Fuck off. It was real. I'm just a hyena. Give me your number so I can get hold of you. I gave her my number, hoping I wasn't about to end up crossing any borders with 5 kilos of counterfeit electronics hidden in my clothes, because I knew I'd be too awkward to say no to that. Great, I'll give you a call when I need you. I prefer it to texting. Of course you do. Easier to shout. Of course you do. And don't try and get away for free. I have a taser. She put her hand out for a handshake. I guess she wanted to seal the deal. I limply shook it with my puny little arm. At least learn how to give good handshakes. It doesn't take strength to do that. Sure. Thanks for the crowbar. I guess I'll see you soon. I left the shop armed with a crowbar, reflecting on how I seem to operate entirely on a favor-based system these days. Oh well, I thought. It was cheap. I was pretty hungry, and as I walked through town, my eyes were drawn to a small shop called Craig's Bakery. Don't go into another shop when you have 3 pounds! The shop had a charmingly decorated exterior, albeit a little cutesy for my taste. I I gazed at the food on display in the window, and I'm pretty sure I drooled on myself. It looked really good. I really needed some sugar. You haven't eaten, like, all day. No, why'd you go into the shop? You have 3 pounds. I don't even know if you can afford a cupcake with that. Hi! Welcome to Greg's Bakery. I'm Greg, and this is my bakery. Greg has sharp fangs like a bat, which is nice, though obviously that isn't important. Oh, hey, I'm here to eat cakes. Do you sell cakes? I don't know why I asked that. I knew they sold cakes. I'd just been drooling over their display. Also, they appear to have pizza on display. It might be supposed to be cheesecake with strawberry slices on it or something, but it just ends up looking like pizza. Oh, sure we do. I make them all fresh every day. Do you catch your eye? If you decide you don't want a cake, I have plenty of other pastries and treats for you. An ice bun, a pizza slice, a donut, vegetable rolls, a bag of sprinkles. A bag of sprinkles? The choice is yours. They seem nice, albeit slightly hyperactive. Pegged it right. I kind of suck at buying food, especially when there's so much choice, so I was glad to hear the door loudly open behind me and distract Greg. Hey, Bill. The usual? You betcha, hun. How's work going? Great, thanks. It's been a quiet day so far, but now I have 2 customers at once. Exciting, huh? What is it you wanted me to get you? They were looking at me, and I still hadn't decided what I wanted. Just get the one with your face on. I've been kept from another milk delivery route, Greg. Can you believe it? What? No way! Another one? How come? That looks so sad. Distraction gave me a chance to pick something, but I scanned across the cakes, desperately trying to choose one. Choose one that's under 3 pounds. I don't know what your tax system is like, but make sure you can afford it with tax. My old manager left a few weeks back, and the new one is, semi-competent. He noticed it was taking me the entire day to do the morning run, and that they were paying me to deliver to empty buildings. I was like, no way, my contract says I have to, but he read my contract, and it doesn't. The contract execute had worked flawlessly for like 4 years, so I had no backup plan. So yep, I'm just delivering to North Acres since they refuse to let us deliver via drone like we do everywhere else now. I'm almost obsolete. Good job those NIMBYs are keeping me in a job for a little longer. Oh no, North Acres, I've heard bad things about that place. They aren't too keen on outsiders. What is Psyche's situation? Ah heck, have your food on me. I placed Belle's order on the counter and canceled the payment. 2 large coffees and 4 vegetable sausage rolls. A pretty impressive lunch. But isn't it like dinner time by now? I feel like you've been gone a while. Well, maybe it is still lunchtime. Oh, you're too kind, hun. I'll make it up to you. North Acres ain't so bad. I just ignore the locals and don't hang around. I think she must have noticed me staring at the cake slack-jawed. Oops. Sorry for pushing in, hun. I'm not used to there being other people here. It's pretty quiet most days. Oh no, I'm sorry I got detected. What is it you wanted? I remember turning to look at them wide-eyed in fear. Donut. I wanted a donut, but someone got hurt and my own confused and messed up. Cake. Oh no! I tried a finger meekly at a random cupcake. Well, you might be able to afford that. 1 triple chocolate muffin coming right up. This wasn't going to plan. I picked up the muffin with some tongs and slid it into a paper bag. That's not even a cupcake, it's a muffin! Useless. Any other cakes, drinks, or savories? A cheese bake, baby? I'll get another muffin, please. You can't afford another muffin! Great choice! Bo's looking at me, munching on one of her rolls. She seemed amused by my inability to buy cakes. I don't think I've seen you around town before. What's your name, hon? Oh, I'm Trixie. Trixie Glimmer Smith. I only moved here a few months back, and I don't get out much. Nice to meet you, Trixie. The name's Belle. She stepped forward with her arm outstretched, and I shook her hoof. It's really clunky and awkward since she didn't have fingers. I hope this ain't too presumptuous, but if you're looking to make some friends here, you're always welcome to come down to the Attic Mouse, the bar just around the corner. It's always nice to make some new pals, you know? Especially if you're new to the area. I seem to go with the bell, but I've been too busy with the bakery recently. Everyone in there is super nice. Very gay, too, so you can just be yourself. Ooh, gay. I guess we're lucky to live in the queerest town in the country. Are you just assuming I'm gay? I mean, no, not officially, sure, but hey, you try finding someone who here isn't queer. Yes! Yay! Everyone is gay. They had a point. Everyone I met here was pretty fucking gay. Oh, thanks for the invite. I'm not too good with social stuff, though. Obviously. Heh, that's fair. You're always welcome to come along, though, hun. Just thought it'd be nice to let you know there's somewhere you can go if you need it, you know. I realized it was getting late and I started to walk back to the village cottage. Crap, I gotta go, sorry. I dropped some coins in the can and ran out of the bakery. I hope I paid enough. You better have dropped all of your coins. You paid for 2 muffins. I heard the pair say bye behind me. They both seemed kinda nice, albeit a little scary. They're not scary! I had to take a short break to recover from gorging on about 5,000 calories of muffin, but I eventually reached the abandoned cottage at the end of Daffodil Lane. I managed to pry the front door open with a crowbar, which was tough given my complete lack of muscle mass. Regardless, I got the door open and tossed the crowbar away. My weak little arms couldn't carry it anymore. Without waiting around, I stepped through the dingy portal. I was immediately hit by a wall of stale air and decay. That's a lot of mold. Hold on, I gotta check something real quick. Oh! You've just reminded me that I need to do, my closed caption service. Although most of the text is going to be on screen. There we go. Now you should be able to click on closed captioning and... Yeah, mold is Foxbane. Now you should be able to click on closed captioning and it'll actually do something. Let's see if it does anything on mobile. Let's see if it does anything. Oh, yeah. No, it works on mobile. So that's a really nifty. Especially for our friends who only use mobile for Twitch. Well, the captions should be working now. I just forgot to set it up before stream. I'm really bad about that. I would appreciate reminders because I want to make sure people can watch the stream and get what it's saying. I hope they can get closed captions after the stream is over when they watch the videos back too. This place is disgusting. I flicked my torch on and finally realized it had no batteries. Oh yeah, nice. Frustrated, I checked it on the floor. Litter bug. I'd had to rely on my eyesight, which had rapidly been deteriorating since I started staying up till 5 a.m. using my laptop screen as my only light source. No. My eyesight got worse so much quicker when I would stay up reading at night because I wasn't allowed to have the light on. So I had to read by, like, the light coming in through the window. It was pretty bad. Not that it was great to begin with, given my condition. The building was dim, with a few shafts of light piercing the boarded windows. What looked like a basement door was slightly ajar. A cold and unpleasant stench seemed to crawl from it. Dead bodies, dead bodies, dead bodies. I wanted to spend as little time in this place as possible. I decided to take a look around the ground floor before heading downstairs. I stepped into what seemed to be the kitchen. Water dripped from the wooden ceiling to the sink, which was close to overflowing. The water was dark and still. Well, it's not still if it's being dripped into. A few tufts of wool floated on the surface, stained a dirty brown. A gross smell seeped into the room from the pantry. I carefully pried it open and was relieved to not find any dead bodies. Dead bodies, dead bodies, dead bodies. Instead, I found a small garden's worth of decompositing? Do you mean decomposing? Decomposing grass melting into a pool of green, frothy liquid. Ew. Oh, gross, what? Who would keep grass in their pantry? I don't know, a sheep? I poked around in the pantry, trying to uncover anything else that might be hidden. At the very back, buried under some of the decaying grass, I found a tin of pineapple rings. Best before date was over 2 decades ago. Ooh, very abandoned. The front depicted a happy pineapple mascot. Eat me, he said. Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, Happy Pineapple Abomination, but I don't think I should. Besides, I don't have a can opener. Behold, you trade a crowbar for a can opener, which allows you to do a quest to actually get the donut you wanted. The bedroom was evidently plainly decorated years ago, but was now completely derelict. A bookshelf stood against one of the walls, but was almost completely empty. The only books remaining were Manners for Girls and 7 Plants I Saw, an adventure story. Ooh, that sounds so exciting. For a gardener, maybe. I decided not to read them. Like the kitchen, the window here had been boarded up, though I noticed that the planks seemed to have been taken from the bed frame, given that the mattress slumped onto the floor. Pile of tools on the floor looked like the likely culprits for the renovations to this place's windows. Another one of the tools was a sturdy crowbar. Ugh, I went to all that trouble getting a crowbar when I could have just broken in here and gotten one for free. Using what crowbar? The tools looked old, but judging by the relative cleanliness, appeared to have been used recently. Next to the bed was a small dresser, and on top of that a picture frame. I wiped the dust away from the photograph to reveal a woman, probably in her 40s. The photograph itself had that old-fashioned faded look to it, and her hair looked very 80s. 80s hair. I love 80s hair. I guess this lady must have lived here before abandoning the cottage. Doesn't look like she probably packed when she left, though, given that a lot of her stuff seems to be here. That happens a lot. There was a loud groan from upstairs, the settling of the cottage's timber frame, I told myself. Regardless, it gave me a scare. Spoopy! Ugh, this place has me really on edge. Let's try this up. Let's is supposed to be short for let us, but there's only you here. The bathroom window was broken, and one of the boards seemed to have fallen off. A black feather was snagged on one of the nails still left in the frame. Is this the same bird from the vending machine? The water tank that was probably meant to be above the toilet had fallen down, littering the floor of smashed ceramic shards and leaving a moldy, damp patch spreading from the toilet's gutted remains. The bottom few inches of the bathtub were stained brown, as if it had been full of rancid water for some time before being emptied. Blah, 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 blah. The plug hole was matted with wool, almost like a spiderweb. Gross. Ugh, this is nasty. What's wrong with this place? No wonder it smells like It was cut off as the house groaned, as if settling. It's going to eat you. Only then did I realize how weak the floor seemed to be in this room, and stepped back. I had no intention of following through into whatever waited for me in the basement. That reminds me of Betrayal at House on the Hill, the board game, where sometimes you'll flip over a towel and you'll end up falling into the basement, and you have to find your way out of the basement to continue the game. If these animals have sewers, this house smells like raw piss. Have been in a house with no water in the pipes. Unpleasant. Really? I don't wish to figure out what that experience is like. I returned to the living room where I had first entered the house. I hadn't really looked around it when I first got here. It was totally trashed, the furniture was a mess, the floors covered in junk, and some water appeared to drip down from the attic onto the sofa, which was coated in white mold. At least it's not black mold. What looked like blood stained the floor and seeped into the musty sofa. It couldn't have been more than a month or two old. This isn't good. Hopefully someone just had a minor accident. You know, cutting themselves on the nails they used to board up the doors. Which made them lose about 4 liters of blood. That's like an entire person. It's old though. I'm sure any murderer who lived here would have left ages ago. The smell probably drove them off. I stepped a little further into the room and almost tripped over something. A video game cartridge? Didn't look as dusty or decrepit as the rest of the house, and definitely wasn't old enough to be from the previous owners. Okay, so apparently the water in the U-shaped bend of pipes keeps the smell out. And that's why the bottom of toilets have that curve. Some brown hairs and white wool blocked the pins, and the image printed on the front was scratched but still readable. Gunshoot 4. Nice. I really enjoyed Gunshoot 3. Left it, it looked pretty gross, or decided to keep it. I mean, it looks pretty gross. I'm gonna keep it though. I gotta use it so I can continue this infinite trade favor quest thing. I figured it wasn't much use lying around this cottage, so I decided to take it with me. Maybe I could wind down with it when I got back to my room. No, clean it and resell it. On the ceiling, a small trapdoor led to the attic, but there didn't seem to be any way up to it. Just use a chair or that table in the corner. Only now noticed the harsh carvings had been dug into the wall and inlaid with golden paint. Ooh, that's creepy. Very simple imagery. It could be a bow and arrow instead of eyeballs. Totally not eyeballs. Dozens of identical eyes had been watching me. I found myself drawn to them. I suddenly shuddered and I almost collapsed. I regained my footing. Thankfully, the house had remained standing. Ooh, oh, that was creepy. I realized that I was stood directly in front of the scrawlings, mere inches from the largest of the eyes. That's strange. I'm sure I was at the other side of the room when I noticed this mess. I was just stunned over here when the house shook without realizing it. I stepped back and turned away from the drawings, decided to avoid them for now. There did seem to be much more to see on the ground floor, and I still hadn't found that book. There was only one thing for it. I'd have to go into the dark, dingy basement. I forced the door open on its rusted hinges and made my way down the stone stairs. The decay and air grew worse with each step. But does it smell like a dead body? Yeah, this murder did not take long. The air in this place is probably cutting years off of my life. That's actually what I was just thinking, too. Okay. The stairs emerge into a large basement, almost as big as the entire ground floor. Why is it lighter down here? My eyes were immediately drawn to the horrific scene at the center of the room. What is this? Are those? 2 skulls were positioned around the chipped remains of some kind of symbol etched onto the floor. I better look around quickly. I really don't want to stay here much longer. For a closer examination, it was clear the songs belonged to a pair of squirrels. Oh, fuck. Oh, gosh. So much for Rose's Pacific Cruise theory. These both seem adult-sized, though, which means the girl is missing. Hopefully I don't find her here. The skulls were undamaged, with no indication of how their owners may have died. Strangely, I don't recall having seen any other bones around the cottage. Yeah, dead bodies, dead bodies, dead bodies! The king in the yellow play is yellow and drives people who read it mad. Oh, right! I decided to leave them to their rest. Not that I'd been brave enough to do anything other than nervously stare at them from a distance anyway. The most obvious thing in the room thoroughly examined, I took a look at the rest of the basement. This whole room looked like something from one of those trashy horror stories I'd read. It was uncanny. I've never read a horror story on purpose. I've read, like, Timeline and other Michael Crichton stuff without realizing he was a horror author. So, but, like, I don't know. I'm okay with horror when it's accidental, and with, like, minor horror things. There's apparently horror things that I enjoy that I just don't realize are horror, so I don't know. I just don't like being scared. So if it doesn't scare me, I guess it's fine. Coffee. Part of me hoped this was just the setting of a really well-decorated LARP, but I felt pretty sure that was wishful thinking. The basement was littered with black and white feathers. It looked like a bird had been in a fight, but with who? Magpie? Please be a magpie. Probably the most out-of-place thing in this murder basement was a small collection of dry cake crumbs scattered across the floor. Despite there only being a slither of cake left, I felt my stomach tighten. A deep and primal part of me knew it was a bad cake. A bad cake? Like there's person in it or something? I took a closer look at the symbol. It was etched into the stone with some kind of stool and gilded with a golden paint. Taking one of those eyes I had seen painted upstairs. It was no less unnerving here, especially given the rest of the room. I think it's time to get out of here. Okay, so I know so far it looks like I spent all week running errands and stuff, but trust me, I have my reasons, as I hope you will soon agree. This is where things get a little hard to recall, but I'll do my best in the interest of proving why I'm going to need a few weeks extra to finish my coursework. Oh yeah, that's why this testimony is all about. Thanks for reading this far, by the way. Faculty admin, I appreciate it. Thanks. There was a loud screech, and the cottage above me started to shake and creak. I heard a long groan as the basement door shut. Oh no. The cottage continued to shudder. I could hear furniture topple over and slam against walls above me. I need to get out of here. I don't know if it's a great time to leave, though. Before I could make a move, whips of golden mist curled around the two skulls. Oh, no. They jerked around and faced me before lifting off the ground as if pulled by puppet strings. No? What a great reaction. No! Floating bones remained motionless in the air, their eye sockets boring deep into me. Stolen, release, beyond, betrayal, cloud waves, Carcosa. Carcosa? Skulls called into my mind, a rasping voice that felt as if it is coming from within my own thoughts. Upstairs, the cottage continued to shake, the sound drowning out even my breathing, but the voice remained clear. The rabbit, betrayal, Hal, blue starlight, Carcosa. Carcosa? The dread city trapped forever under the red skies of the Hyades. The stolen crown jewel of a long-forgotten empire. The setting of the King in Yellow. That much I knew. If the play was anywhere, it would be here, but that was hardly at the forefront of my mind at this point. The spike! Broken body! Carcosa! What are you? I am the abomination, the malformed stock, the accursed meat, filthy, unclean, Carcosa, trapped, Carcosa, the ashen streets, the dying slumber beneath the lake, forever, and yet, free. Please, I didn't mean to disturb you, my friend made me come here, she wants to play, she's not even your fan, by the way, the King in Yellow? Ah! At the mention of the King in Yellow, the skulls imploded with a loud crack, the eye sockets split, the craniums almost appeared to collapse into themselves. No, that's definitely what happened. I stumbled backwards, almost falling as shards of bone and tooth rattled onto the stone floor. The curse play, stolen, the monochrome prophet, This is a comedy horror. I think I can deal with this. The broken royal. They had it stolen. A new owner. For the play. Found. Trapped. Carcosa. Forever. And yet, I walk again. We will meet again, small white rat. I'm not a rat. I don't think so, anyway. The skulls dropped to the floor with a loud crash. The golden glow dissipated, and as the room fell silent, I could feel myself toppling towards the cold floor as my mind disconnected. Ah! My eyes slowly opened. A feeling of grogginess and nausea had taken over my body. I felt my mind spin. Sure that's not just vertigo? I could make out grass fluttering gently in the breeze. Oh, fuck. Alright. I looked up. A sheep gazed down at me as she chewed on some grass. As I stirred, she wandered off and left me be. Some time to properly come to, but I soon realized I was crumpled in the sheep field on Daffodil Lane. The moon cast white rays across me, and I wondered how long it had been there. What happened? It was here I slowly started to remember my time in the cottage. The decaying rooms, the black and white feathers, the strange symbols, the blood, and the two skulls speaking into my mind fuzz. Into your mind fuzz? How much of that actually happened? My eyes slowly started to focus on the grass beside me. There was a box of some kind. Or was it? I squinted at it. Whatever it was wrapped in shiny yellow skin. It was probably actual leather from actual people, and it's probably the yellow play. I reached a weak hand over to it and ran it across the top of the box. My suspicion was confirmed. It was snakeskin. My hand curled around the back of the box and felt paper. It was a book. I grabbed it and pulled it above my eyes where I could see it. Embossed in black amongst the yellow scales was the title, The King in Yellow. I stared at the playbook. How had it gotten there? It was held shut by a golden ribbon, but it would only take a second to undo it. I started to reach for it, my fingers feeling the soft silk. Don't do it. Thank you, Mr. Crow, Magpie, some sort of corvid probably. Suddenly, a bird screeched a horrid caw. I jumped, almost dropping the book on my face. Yeah, that's happened. I wasn't jump scared. I was totally jump scared. Far away, sat in the big jeweled tree, a strange, mange-looking magpie stared at me. Yeah, magpie! I like magpies. When I was in the other side of the mountains visiting, I just saw just a fuck ton of magpies just all up everywhere. I'd never seen magpies before, and I'm just like, they like shiny things, and so do I. Far away, sat in the big jeweled tree, a strange, mangy-looking magpie stared at me. I thought of the feathers in the basement. It's hard to tell at this distance, but it seemed to be staring right at me. Wide eyes reflected white moonlight like mirrors. I was about to shout over at it, but it took off and flapped away into the darkness of the night. I lay in the field a while longer and watched the woolly sheep munch on the grass. The King in Yellow held tightly against my chest. Don't let it touch you. Also, don't get something like that tattooed on you. Just saying, maybe don't tattoo signs of chaos over your heart. Not saying from experience or anything. Eventually, I managed to pull myself up and started the long trek back to my room. Oh yeah, the Choco cereal's still on the floor. That's what you were messaging about earlier. Yeah. Saber Draculas. I messaged Nikita and told her to meet me in the morning. She was still awake, presumably working on her campaign. She seemed pretty set on retrieving the King in Yellow right then, but when I told her I wasn't going to get back out of bed, she begrudgingly agreed to wait. I shoved the play into my bag and turned my phone off, eventually settling into a disturbed sleep. Oh yeah, I imagine it's disturbed. My dreams were dark and confused. Me and Bill ran through a dark forest. Something terrible followed us. I could feel its eyes boring into my back. I screamed and stopped. In front of me was a steep cliffside. Belle plummeted off into the darkness below. Far across the gap was another cliff edge. I saw myself stood there looking out at me. Ooh, creepy. A dark figure moved through the woods towards my twin, and with terror I realized I was looking into a mirror. I spun around to face my assailant and found myself facing a gray, blasted landscape. At the center was a circular pool of black water. Belle stood at the center of the pool, on top of the water. She faced away from me. A flood of black water rose up from the pit to engulf us. I was blinded by it until a bright light tore through the inky darkness. Ooh, creepy eyes. The scene collapsed into itself, and I stood in the abandoned basement. I saw myself as a skeleton, a golden glow surrounding me as I turned to dust and cackled maniacally. A horrible, dirty bird looked down at me from the top of a withered tree with branches like tangled thorns. It would speak to caw at me, but no sound came out. The bird broke into wisps of cloud vapor and dissolved into the dark night. I looked down, and in my hands was the King in Yellow. The bird's cough finally sounded, and I looked up. Where once was the tree was now a misty shoreline. Ooh. In front of me was a spire of gleaming ivory, but before my eyes I saw it rot and decay. Behind the terrible city arose a great moon. Mist dripped from it as it emerged from a lake of cloud. Black stars of the Hyades hung above me, pinpricks of oil in the red sky. Watching me from across leagues of rolling white waves stood the solitary figure of the King in Yellow. He seemed to travel towards me, closer and closer, as his tattered wrappings flapped in the wind. His long, bony arms stretched to remove the pallid mask, and I knew I had found myself on the path to a truly terrible fate. I wonder, because the King in Yellow just makes me think, it makes me think of, H.P. Lovecraft stuff a little, because I know there's something about yellow there, but, like, the King in Yellow specifically makes me think of the Man in Yellow, or the Man in the Yellow Hat, which is from Curious George. So, I don't know, that's what I'm imagining, like, that's what this person looks like to me. a bed and drown reference? I don't know what you're talking about, sorry. Ooh, spoopy. I woke up, and the music started playing normally again. It was 9 a.m. Several hours earlier than I would normally wake up, but after that nightmare I was glad to be conscious. Nikita liked to tell me off for waking up late, so I assumed she wouldn't be expecting me awake for a few hours. My head still felt stuffy, so I decided to walk around the university grounds to get some air. Clean up the fucking cereal! Please! It was a pleasant morning. A gentle wind blew softly on my weary eyes. A welcome break from the heat wave. Nikita is your future. Prepare for it. Is she holding up the yellow play in that poster? I bet she is. Another snack machine, but this time without feathers coming out of it. Still, it seems like it's going to be another warm summer day. Unfortunate. And it was the last thing I needed with my albinism. I have to put a lot of sun shampoo on my fur. Ugh. I'm not albino, but I am pretty sunburn prone, so I know the feel of having to, like, even if you're just sitting on your porch for a little bit, you have to put on sunscreen or else you just turn pink, or worse, you turn red. Oh, that's what you're talking about with... bed round and other things. Okay. It looked like somewhere that would be haunted and actually was, albeit only by the occasional gotten-looking PhD student. Oh, what did I... Okay. Not that I was complaining. Whether my experience in the basement was real or not, I had quite enough of ghosts for now. I walked past the old clock tower. It would have looked a lot more impressive if it wasn't broken. I don't know why you don't replace it with a digital one or something. Though obviously I'm aware that it wasn't really your department. That wasn't an attack on your faculty, Ammons. Below is a statue of the university's founder, P.H. Lovecraft. Oh, Lovecraft? Okay. He was a speciesist dickhead, but now he's just dead. Alright. I'm gonna have to read some Lovecraft before playing this game next, so I can get some of these references besides the really obvious ones that even I would get. But I think I'm going to end it here for tonight. It's been about an hour since I've been playing, and we got through the scary experience, and I don't want to make it through to another one. Because I'm a coward. So I should save. Let's leave it a different slot. Just in case. Because it's with all the choices you make. So, now it's just chatting time for a little bit. So how was the... Are you liking the game so far? I'm liking it, but I feel like I'd like it more if I actually read H.P. Lovecraft. I'm trying to add a background now. College student humor is tickling my funny bone. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much still college age, even if I'm not in college. Even if I'm also thousands of years old. There we go. Now I have a background instead of just being against black. The play's main thing isn't even by him. What's the play's main thing? I thought the yellow person was a Lovecraft invention. Don't mind me just drinking coffee and having my avatar freak out. This program apparently doesn't like me drinking coffee. Robert W. Chambers wrote the book The King in Yellow. Oh, that's an actual reference. It was Lovecraftian, but it wasn't Lovecraft. Let me this shouldn't come as a surprise to you, Sushi, but let me write that down. Maybe I'll read it. Let me write it down in my little Ruby field notes book. I don't even know how I got this. Like, I don't subscribe to Ruby or anything. Like, maybe somebody got this in, like, a loot box or something? Okay, so... The King... in Yellow. By... Robert W. Chambers. I think there's something about eyes in the Lovecraft board game I read also. He was racist, but there was a weird thing of him being a shared universe author. No, that would be really cool. Actually, I mean, okay. Not being racist. I hate that he's racist, and it's a good thing that we don't even, like, recognize who he is, really. Although, we do recognize Lovecraft, and he was also racist. Just don't look up the name of his cat. But, I think it would really be cool for, instead of just having, like, fiction and fan fiction, if there was shared writing and things besides shows. Because it happens in shows a lot. Like, I know, like, 3 different authors to Doctor Who episodes, for instance, including an author I really like and an author I really don't. And then, but, like, I can't think of any writing that's got shared universe stuff. Like books writing, I mean. There's books that have multiple authors, but there's not, like, one author writes this book and one author writes this book and it alternates, or, it's just, they have different parts of the world they're working in. Like, one thing that would have been cool for stuff that me and my best friend were writing was if, for instance, he wrote all the vampires and stuff, and I wrote all the werewolves, like something like that. The Cthulhu mythos is a weird thing you might be interested in more than the actual books within. Yeah, no, I don't expect, for Lovecraft, I don't expect that I would like the books all that much with the little experience I have with them, but I'd like the lore. So, what is the Cthulhu mythos like a different book or something? Lovecraftian anime, and it's rom-com. Is there just like a Cthulhu mythos Wikipedia or something that I can go scare myself with? I feel like doing research for this VN when I feel like playing it, but it's not Thursday. The genre, more or less. Cthulhu mythos genre. I'm writing things down. Well, do you have any other comments about the game before I shut off the stream? I think I said scream instead of stream. I'm sorry. I have a speech impediment and it gets worse over time. My favorite so far is Heidi. She seems cool. Trixie seems useless. Heidi's useless at math. But, you know, she owns her own business. She seems to be a biker butch, or something like that. Seems like she would do something like Dykes on Bikes. Disaster drunk bun, disaster lesbian, and butch yeen. What's yeen mean? Like lesbian? Is that like a short form of lesbian I've never seen before? I've always just seen it lesbian or bean. Hyena. Oh, yeah. No, butch yeen, butch hyena is my favorite. Who's your favorite so far? Is it is it Nikita? feel like your favorite would be just... Oh, fake smoking bunny? Or is it Delrose? The Rose? The Drose? I don't remember. I'm bad at names. Alright. Well, it's been fun playing this. Hopefully I can play it again next Thursday. Hope you had a good time. And that's all for now. Bye! Bye, fruits!